together at the meeting room like that. It was nice. Very nice.
We actually
that was
have
really impressive.
two of our students who attend Clearview who are starting a program there as well with the Career Tech Center.
Oh, yeah, that's
And we
good.
also have one of our students who's going to the, is it TLC program?
Yes.
TLC program there from our school, which is great. It's a new type of program for kids who just need extra support. So they can kind of go choose the different programs, and they can kind of get exposure to everything to find out where their skills are, so what program would they enter the following year. So I think it's a great program. I think it's a great opportunity. And that's really all I have for information today. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Koshka.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. We don't have anyone signed up for the visitor recognition, unless, Sarah, you have
I
anything?
was quite impressed with the video. Very professional.
Very, yep.
Thank you.
Treasurer's report. May I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report and the high school extracurricular fund report?
Motion.
Second.
Question?
Question being called for. The treasurer report for motion, excuse me. Apologize. Motion by,
Mr. Nemec.
was it Matarazzo or Mr. Nemec?
Mr. Nemec.
Mr. Nemec. Second by Mr. Petrucci.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm sleeping here in the job. The treasurer's report for November 8, 2018 and December 2018, the high school extracurricular fund report for November 2018 and December 2018 be approved and made part of the official minutes. Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Payment of bills. May I have a motion to approve the payment of bills for the month of January 2019?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Nemec. Second by Mr. Petrucci.
Question?
Question being called for. To approve the payment of bills for the month of January 2019. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Full business, Mr. Leggett.
We have none this evening, Mr. President.
Prior to tonight's meeting, at 5:15, we had an executive session where we discussed personnel, student issues, and a potential energy savings project with recommendations from a contractor. New business. We have extracurricular and athletics. Mr. Matarazzo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight, I'd like to move to employ the following personnel. Documentation and acceptance of Act 34, 151, and 114 waivers for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Employment is effective for the 2018-19 season unless otherwise noted. Mr. Sam Guzik, junior high boys basketball assistant coach, district-wide, salary of $33.52. Larry Homan, assistant varsity wrestling coach, district-wide, salary of $44.89. Christopher Hartman, assistant junior high wrestling coach, district-wide, salary of $39.08. And John Gutwald, spring musical set design coordinator, district-wide, at a salary of $628.
Second by Mr. Petrucci. Question being called for. This is a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I'd also like to move to approve the following volunteer coaches, effective immediately. Volunteers must have Act 34, 151, and 114 waivers on file with the athletic director. Renee Ruggieri, volunteer gymnastic coach. Lauren Kaufman, volunteer gymnastic coach. And Richard Moreland, volunteer bowling coach.
Second by Mr. Nemec. Question being called for. This is a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I'd also like to move to accept the following resignations. Corey Stanford as volunteer boys basketball coach. Paul Pavornik, volunteer ice hockey coach. Greg Johnson, spring musical set coordinator. And Larry Homan, assistant junior high wrestling coach.
Second by Mr. Petrucci. Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor?
Okay. And lastly, I'd like to move to approve the following band trip request. In February 2019 to Indianapolis for indoor color guard to attend the WGI Indianapolis Regional at a cost of $3,000 to the district for bus. The cost will be covered by the participants in Penn Trafford Band Parents Association. March the 9th and 10th in Indianapolis as well for high school concert percussion to attend the WGI Indianapolis Regional at a cost of $3,000 to the district for bus. Additional costs will be covered by the participants and Penn Trafford Band Parents Association. March 15th through the 17th in Bethlehem, PA, for indoor color guard to attend the WGI East Power Regional Championship. Cost of $3,000 to the district for bus. Additional costs will be covered by the participants and Penn Trafford Band Parents Association. And last, March 23rd and 24th, Highland Heights, Kentucky, for the high school concert percussion to attend the Power Regional Championship. It's presumptuous, I hope we're going to make that. The championship at a cost of $3,000 to the district for bus. Any additional costs will be covered by the participants and Penn Trafford Band Parents Association.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Ising. Question being called for. This is a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Okay. This one's a little awkward because we already did it. Dr. Harris, maybe you can let us know how this worked out. January 10th through the 12th at Hershey, PA, the high school competitive cheer team attended the PIAA State Championship. Cost of this trip will be funded by the district.
And actually, the results, Scott, did you hear?
Finished sixth.
Finished
Sixth.
sixth? I wasn't sure. I know they didn't win, but they finished sixth, which is, how high did they finish last year?
I can't recall.
I can't recall, but I think it was better
It
than.
was bad, third or fourth, maybe? Does that ring a bell? I can't remember.
Doesn't this qualify them to go to nationals, though? Or not?
I'm not sure.
And I think there were like 20 or 30. I mean, there's a lot of,
Like
coming in
36.
sixth, it wasn't like 6 out of 7.
Yeah,
They
there's a lot
were
of schools.
Oh,
very
there's a lot of
competitive.
schools that compete.
Yeah.
So proud of the girls. And
They had a couple girls that went that were under the weather, so that had some impact on it, I believe, that difficulty performing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by
Mr.
Mr.
Kachasik.
Kachasik.
You tell.
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries.
thank you, Mr. President. That's all for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Matarazzo. Budget and Finance, Mr. Kachasik.
No report this evening, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Kachasik.
You're welcome.
Buildings, Grounds, and Safety, Mr. Dallas Leonard.
I have nothing tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Dallas Leonard. Employee Relations, Negotiation, and Transportation, Mrs. Ising.
Nothing to report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mrs. Ising. Food Service, Mr. Nemec.
Nothing to report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Nemec. Personnel and Curriculum, Mr. Petrucci.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to approve list of additional substitute teaching and support personnel for the month of January 2019.
Second.
Second by Mr. Matarazzo.
Question.
Question being called for. This is all a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Move to employ the following personnel, new employees contingent upon the receipt of all necessary documentation accepted back from 34, 151, 114 Warriors College, Pennsylvania, within 30 days. Danielle Gordon, Catherine Crenshaw, Kimberly Young, Lori Crosby, Adam Robinson, Amy Bergman, Alexa Newingham, Lauren Drew, Rachel Saxinger, Tasha Grunberg, Delaney Cooper, Marina Ferrari, Lauren Dunn, Amanda Dransart. And their positions are as listed.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Ising.
Question.
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Move to accept the following retirement resignation. Robert Cornathan, custodian at McCullough Elementary School, effective April 8th, 2019.
Second.
Question.
Second by Mr. Nemec. Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
Bob would definitely be missed. He was hired in 1989, and he's currently the head custodian at McCullough. And I know the kids at the school really like him. My boys went through the school, and he's always pleasant, always kind, always helpful, and he keeps that school clean. So I really appreciate that. So he's gonna be missed, but he deserves his retirement. That's for sure. And also, not to interrupt, Mr. Vinton was kind enough to send me the announcements from PT Video today, and the cheerleaders finished 6 out of 36 teams. And now they get to go to nationals.
Great.
Where nationals at?
Mr. Vinton.
I don't know.
Nationals, he didn't,
It's in Orlando.
Orlando.
Jeez.
It's like, Mr. Benjamin's definitely on it.
Thank you, Dr. Harris.
Sorry for the
That
interruption.
motion did carry,
Okay.
so we can continue on.
Move to
Mr.
accept the
Petrucci?
following resignations. Kristen Branson, PCA at Penn Trafford High School, effective December 4th, 2018. And Lori Carmack, special education teacher, Trafford Middle School, effective January 25th, 2019.
Second?
Second by Mr. Matarazzo.
Question.
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
And I want to just say, Chris and Lori will both be missed, and I wish them well on the new endeavors. So thank you.
That motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Harris.
Move to approve the following leave requests. Timothy Buxton, Gregory Dara, Jamie Hoffman, and Rick Senkow, as listed.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Ising.
Question?
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Move to approve the following student teacher assignments. The co-op teacher is Bonnie Segment. Student teacher is Callie Norman. Area is certified OT assistant. The dates are February 20th to April 10th of 2019.
Second?
Second by Mr. Matarazzo.
Question.
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Move to issue a professional contract to the following teacher in accordance with the Section 1108 School Laws of Pennsylvania. Excuse me. School Laws of Pennsylvania. Wow. I just drank a bottle of water. This teacher is satisfactory. Wow. Completed 3 years of teaching at Penn Trafford School District. Jessica Patterson, excuse me.
Second.
Question?
Second by Mrs. Ising. Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries.
Move to get a final approval of Penn Trafford High School Program of Studies for the 2019-2020 school year as submitted to the board.
Second.
Second by Mr. Kachasik.
Question?
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries.
So I, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Petrucci. Mr. Stovall, Policy, Public Relations, Legislative, and Title II.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to give final approval to the following board policies and administrative regulations. A copy of these policies and regulations will become an official part of the meeting, minutes of this meeting, as listed.
Second.
Second by Mr. Leonard.
Question.
Question being called for. This will be a roll call vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Taxes, insurance, and census. Mr. Leonard.
Nothing to report at this time, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Leonard. Solicitor report.
No report, thank you.
Thank you. Move to adjourn the January 14th meeting at, time please,
7:41.
7:41.
We need a motion.
Motion.
May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Kachasik. Second by Mrs. Ising. Motion carries.